But yeah, that was me, Koden, not knowing the name, not Vuras.
Yeah, I gotcha.
So I think you look. I believe it is Thelyse. Audra Thelyse.
Graelt nods his head. So, I did take a cursory look over your personal file. And, I believe, knowing everything that you said today to be inexorably true, that you, Vuras Dracoshari, are due for another mark.
Ooh, are you getting promoted?
From this day forward, you will be a 3rd Mark Knight of the Order of Watchers.
Mazel tov!
Thank you, and I'm...
My man's got promoted!
Oh, congratulations!
The confirmation of your escapades and the subsequent promotion, so to say, of your authority in this order is the main reason why I summoned you here today. But before you leave to whatever adventure you have lined up with this party of travelers, I have one more question for you.
Ask away.
Are you aware that Audra Thelyse poses a non-insignificant threat to the realm of reality?
No, I was not aware.
Graelt nods.
May I ask for more information on this threat?
Unfortunately, we have very little. Which is why I ask you keep a very close eye on this individual. If I'm not wrong, a traveling monk hides their face and fights with a polearm.
3 for 3.
What was that?
3 for 3.
Gotcha. It is a non-benign possibility that this individual has connections to something that could threaten reality as we know it, the mortal realm. And I do not pose this blame to Audra Thelyse themselves. But I ask that you keep this close eye and you send word directly to the nearest dispatcher, paladin, or prefect if you are to discover any more about them.
I'm not sure if this is good information or not, but will they occasionally do something in battle? I'm not sure if it's related or not, but at times they will seemingly out of nowhere summon these spectral spider legs, which perhaps is just a monk thing. I'm not sure, but
I have heard of the ways of the astral self.
So perhaps that is not very important, but I wanted to bring it up anyways, that they are something that I have noticed, these astral spider legs that haunt around us.
I will say from my knowledge of the monasteries that follow the way of the astral self, spider legs is not a common manifestation. The manifestation of the astral self is supposed to be a visual representation of one's own soul. So, watch out for that.
Yes. Do they often harm those around them when they summon this astral self?
It seems to be the idea.
Okay.
For you must be aware combat reasons.
Yes. Well, not yeah.
I don't mean to make you feel unintelligent, but the question is really, does this person unsheath their sword with intent to kill? Most often, yes.
I mean, you are right, and I take no offense. I know next to nothing about monks, so.
Well, you will learn much more in the coming months, hopefully. Keep an eye on this Audra Thelyse, and I would recommend staying with this adventuring party however long you can to get your information.
Understood.
You are dismissed. Go. Enjoy your night. Third mark night. A little play on words there. Pocket does not laugh. He thinks that's a stupid joke.
Pocket does not laugh, but Vuras definitely chuckles.
Yeah.
I liked this man all up until he was like, I have receipts. And I was Put those away! Don't do a background check on everybody, that's rude! Mine's
He's
wanted!
just doing a background check on you. Everyone else was like, he didn't even ask. Vuras was like, yeah, I don't know what's going on with Maya. I don't trust her right now because of something. A false accusation, supposedly, but like, and he was like, alright, that's cool. Here's this.
Whatever is going on with Maya, as far as Grail knows, it is not something of particular interest to the Watchers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Ice cream.
But yeah, Vuras, I think he does, he's been dismissed, so he does leave, but he does definitely carry himself with a new sense of pride. Holy shit.
Congrats, you're well done.
Congrats on the promotion!
Yay!
The next time you get one, you will be a sentinel, which is the highest rank among field agents.
That's insane.
Fancy schmancy.
That hits Vuras as he's entering the inn, like, oh.
Though technically a third mark sentinel is the highest among field agents.
Yeah.
I mean, congratulations. You should get yourself a piece of cake to celebrate.
Yay! I created this entire ranking system for Vuras' order like last night.
Yeah, literally last night at like fucking 11, you were like, hey!
11 p.m. I sent that. I was like, hey, are you awake? Here. And then I sent them the whole list. All right.
I feel like Vuras is just so not smooth. So he's like, okay, I need to carefully watch my companion now, which might be concerning. I'm like, how the fuck are you gonna do that without Audra being like, what do you want from me?
Oh, you'll
Why
see.
do you keep... Okay.
I don't have any money for you, please.
Right. Do you want money? I have it. Will you leave me alone?
Do I
doesn't need
smell?
money.
What's going on?
So
Did you forget that he dropped literally all his previous money to in the tower
That's true.
to the guy
That's
who's
true.
just like, here, please leave.
That is true. That did
that's right.
happen.
You did do that. You did get 2,000 gold when you got back, though.
Yeah.
That's true. For us, good with money? No.
So, we can head right to the re-meeting with Friis Vestaborn if y'all would like.
Yeah, I'm
Good
down.
to me.
All right.
We go.
So when you return to Friis' abode, snacks are of course prepared, and
Always.
always. And Friis himself is dressed up in a soft red robe and sipping on wine.
Are we talking silks?
It is silks. Carbuncle has a section of the long table in the dining hall that is cleared out, with a couple papers and other tools, such as the playback tablet that they show. Excuse me.
Yes.
That they shown you guys a few days ago. As you walk into the dining hall, Carbuncle signs the words for "Welcome in."
Love that little guy. They're so
Good
good.
to see you again, Carbuncle.
Carbuncle nods.
I would love to have Audra learn sign. I feel like it'd just be good for them to have.
Useful for if you're in any situation where you cannot talk.
Exactly. Like somebody drops a silence, it'd be good. Or just in general needs of sneakiness.
Yeah.
Not true.
So as you all take up your usual spots at the table of Mr. Vestaborn.
Ooh, 1 second.
Holy shit! Are you kidding me?
What kind of snacks do we got?
What kind of snacks do you want?
For some reason, my brain just keeps saying macaroons.
Macarons?
Or like a tea, like an afternoon tea bundle of snacks.
Frankly, Friis speaks up with his feet kicked up onto the table. I'm beginning to feel like I'm overstepping the bounds of simply repaying you. So I'll start to chalk this up just to my good old generosity, or perhaps the fact that I quite enjoy seeing a group of adventurers make the world a better place.
Whatever makes you feel better.
I should apologize for my earlier transgression, Maya. Perhaps a bit too much of my snark got through when I said I couldn't speak for your innocence. In hindsight, I know that I indeed cannot speak for your innocence, but I can choose to believe you. We both share complicated relationships with our foregone fathers. In fact, that might be the reason why I was inclined to believe you had truly killed Jonah. But I do not think you did, because you are not me. I am long past repairing what my dead father made of himself to me, but if I can grant you that chance, I'd be more than happy.
I loved my dad.
Can't relate.
I understand why you can't. I honestly understand why you can't relate. Your father was a bit of an ass.
Sir, I didn't murder my father. He got himself into a coma. I should clear that up. I didn't murder my father.
On accident. He accidentally got himself in a coma.
He did get into a coma. It's just while he was in a coma, I did alter his will so that he left everything to me.
I respect that. Congratulations on your success.
My main concern right now is this wizard that actually murdered my father is ruining his name because he made it seem like my father raised an ungrateful little shite who would betray him at the earliest moment.
Which is not true.
My father took me around the world and showed me wonders of different cultures and history, and I am eternally grateful to him for it, and I want to carry on his legacy with pride. But I cannot do that if the city that we grew up in, and my mother is under the constant stress of people saying that she raised a murderer.
Sorry.
I have not ever killed anyone. I have not killed a single person in my life, and I don't plan on starting.
I can respect the position. It is admirable. Definitely more noble than my own. Carby, show them their targets. And you see that with a wave of Carbuncle's wand, the stack of papers separates and glides out across the length of the table. Each paper smoothly slides its way in front of each party member. And Friis says, moving on to the meat and potatoes of this meeting, I believe you were intending to seek the whereabouts of the Clockwork Benefact. Correct?
Correct.
In the meantime, I would like to familiarize everybody with who it is they are dealing with. On the parchment that you are all given is an actual photograph. Photos are rare and most often made by devices that are only made in Avitas. The photograph in question is of the illustrious adventuring party, the Clockwork Benefact, named for being based in the city of Clocks. This group has been well beloved as odd job workers and retrievers of valuable artifacts. They've made a name for themselves in the past 3 years for working to improve the city of Avitas with every job they take, hence the Clockwork Benefact. There are 5 individuals standing in a group photo pose. The person at the front is a human with tan skin. He appears to be wearing practical gear, tunic and belt, with a short sword in its scabbard, and a spell book that has its own special little holster, as well as a number of component pouches on this belt. Over the gear, he has altered wizard robes, acting more like a fancy coat that is tighter around the arms so that it prevents loose sleeves from getting in the way. He has long black hair that is pulled back into a ponytail, and he is cracking a smirk, hands resting on the spellbook at his hip. Beauremont Caliban. Accomplished wizard who graduated top marks at his university, prestigious background, but foregoed a chance at scholarly ease to go out and explore tombs and ruins. Caliban himself formed the Clockwork Benefact and is their acting leader. He's a cunning wizard, as Maya might have seen firsthand, so prepare yourselves for a clever opponent. Beside the proud figure of Caliban, standing at about half his height, is a halfling rogue, dressed in sleek leather armor that is tanned black for stealthy approaches. This halfling has short-cut red hair and a hood resting on their shoulders. A large scar cuts through her lip, clefting it slightly and creating this perpetual sneer. You can tell that she isn't used to being as visible as she is right now, though the way that she's flipping a dagger in the photo implies she doesn't quite mind the showmanship. Sigmund Sigbar, dungeon delving debonair, probably the least mentioned member of the Benefact, and for reasons that work in her favor. A rogue with tricky fingers, her role in the group involves a lot of lockpicking and trap tinkering. If you pick a fight, don't let her out of your sight. The first chance she gets will be all that she needs. Flanking the other side of Caliban is a dwarven cleric that stands tall, or rather, tall for a dwarf. His beard is braided down in traditional fashion, while his head is cut down to a buzz cut. His armor appears to be made of a solid polished stone, which is odd for most people, but homely for a dwarf. With a proud smile on his face, this cleric has one hand settled on his shield bearing a crest of some dwarven clan that likely traces its origins back to Forgespire, and he is poised like a soldier, a warhammer strapped to his back. Jada Shieldbreak, a tough cookie to crumble. This cleric of Moradin left his home in the Warfall line and found himself running with the Benefact. There isn't a lot on this guy. He's from an old clan, but doesn't seem to be championed by any said family. A lot of personal accounts from citizens say that he's rather motivated by glory and success. That's probably why he's so dedicated to Caliban. If you're getting into a scrap, don't let this rock wall of a dwarf waste too much of your time. Off to the right end of the frame, standing rather awkwardly, is a wood elf druid. Sun-kissed skin tone, wide eyes, long dark hair that seems slightly tinted green. She seems excited but rather nervous, clutching onto an oaken staff with moss and wildflowers blooming on the top of the arcane focus. She wears a mantle made of large tree leaves that drape over her shoulders. The naturey vibes of her appearance makes for an interesting contrast with the rest of her group, and for a group of supposed murderers, she seems completely out of place. Myrna Tela, the green one of the group, both literally and metaphorically. She joined just recently, but has apparently proven herself in the eyes of the public. She plays support and does it well. A druid from Ickerstock, I wouldn't be surprised if the rest of the team rely on her for anything that requires a gentle touch. She seems to be good for PR, I would know. That is the face of a bleeding heart people pleaser. Don't underestimate her, though, lest you get mauled by an angry bear. And finally, towering over the entire group behind them is a Warforged. It is unclear if this automaton has any facial features, as they are covered up by a thick plating helm that curves back into sharp edges. Most Avitas built with Warforged are like clockwork style, with like brass color and spindly limbs. This one appears to have refitted most of their chassis for combat, giving the vibe that they are a walking combination of Avitas and Alliance styles of Warforged. The shoulder plates of this fighter are decorated with gray direwolf pelt, which goes down into a cloak. Their forearms look reinforced as well, but engraved in a runic style. The armor plating goes all the way down to the feet, which look hefty yet sleek enough for smooth movement. The robot is standing upright, one hand gripping the handle of a long, curved greatsword that he rests on his shoulder. And that is Fenrir, an Avitas Warforged that wandered between holds. People have stories of him swooping in to slaughter beasts or monsters, but his real claim to fame started with the Benefact. He is their acting muscle, skilled with a blade and, if witnesses are to be believed, shockingly agile. If you end up in a fight with this beast of a machine, expect to withstand heavy blows. That sword is its own flying guillotine. Now that you are acquainted with the opposing team, you should know what they're actually up to. At this moment, the Benefact are away from home, reportedly investigating old ruins in the shadow wastes of the Dominion. A dangerous endeavor, surely, and one that the Benefact is taking of its own accord. After some digging, I know that this outing is a personal project of Caliban's, and not one taken under a contract. This means two things. Their home base is currently empty, and they are outside of Avitas territory. Regardless of which direction you choose to go, one or the other or both, you will need a porter's pass to get to either location fast enough to act. A porter's pass can register to a group and allow you to use teleportation circles between holds, though a fee will be required for each teleportation. About 50 gold within the Alliance and 100 gold to teleport into Dominion, and vice versa inside the Dominion. And, one last thing. Even if you collect the evidence necessary to absolve yourself, you can challenge the previous trial in court, but you should find a juromancer to represent you. That's a wizard lawyer, by the way. You'll be more likely to earn a fair trial instead of being locked up on the spot when you turn to Avitas. And speaking of juromancers, Carbuncle knows a guy. And then Carbuncle nods.
Good old Carbuncle.
Good old Carbuncle.
After that exposition drop that I wanted to get to before we can end for the day.